This week on Not Another Movie Podcast, we talk about Spider-Man's fate.
It is a regular trailer park with so many trailers dropping this week.
And what do Michael Bay and a Mexican drug lord have in common? We'll tell you in our show.
Ooh.
Welcome back to episode 9 of Not Another Movie Podcast. I am Shaun Pierce.
And I am Sean Kelly.
And
Nailed
we're off
it.
to another hosting great start, I have to admit. The last 3 weeks have just been blunder after blunder, so I'm glad we're keeping this tradition alive.
Yeah, well, we're just keeping it real. We're showing the audience that we're just regular folks.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Yeah, some people actually shocked that we don't ever have any trained professional
No.
broadcasting skills.
So silly.
Yeah.
I know. Well, that's all right. So just, guys, if you're listening, you too can be this professional if you sit in front of a microphone and talk.
Well, probably
Without any
probably
training.
This probably a bit more professional.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. And not this particular microphone, because I'm using it, and if I came downstairs and saw you in my computer room talking, I'd be freaked out. But you probably sound good.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
You never know. We might add you to the show. Who knows?
The welcome edition.
I'm always
It's
looking for
Shaun and Shaun
replacements.
and the weirdo who came into my... Yo, what? No way. You can never replace this this Barry White-esque voice.
All right. Well, as we spoke about at the top of the show, it has been a massive week for trailers. I know we talk about trailers nearly every week, and you know it's not something new, but we've actually got three really good ones to talk about this week. It started off with the Justice League trailer, which dropped. I think it was Saturday or Sunday. I think it was Sunday our time, and I'm just not that excited, to be honest, after this trailer.
Yeah, I was more excited than you were.
Yeah, I think
And this
so.
is usually the opposite when we're talking DC properties. But when I saw Aquaman riding on the Batmobile, I thought, okay, that's pretty cool.
Look, it did
That's
have
pretty-
some really cool shit in it,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It just and it's something you mentioned to me. It just looks like the same CG heavy Batman v
Yeah.
Superman world that we've already. I know it's the same world, but we were hoping that it would be a little bit lighter. But it still looks, quite dark. It still looks CG heavy,
Yeah.
and a little bit more of the same.
Yeah, I do have to agree with that. I think they're really doubling down on this dark aesthetic that they're going for. They're trying to inject a little bit of humor, it seems, which is nice. And there were some quick shots in a trailer of clearly some background from some of the characters. Like you saw a Cyborg before he was, as a football player.
As a football star.
You saw a little bit of Flash visiting his father, Dr. Manhattan, in jail.
Yes.
So maybe I think they were like little breadcrumbs to people to say, look, we're going to have some backstory in here as well, but whether that plays out in the movie, who knows? Yeah, we saw how they did the backstory in Suicide Squad. They might do something very similar here.
Yeah. Look, I actually loved the Comic-Con trailer that we saw last year, but I thought this one was probably a little bit the same, to be honest.
Bit of a step down.
It didn't really have that big money shot I was hoping for. So, hopefully they're actually saving that for the actual film itself.
Yeah, you hope so. Yeah, to compare it with the even just looking at the two posters of the Justice League poster and then the Spider-Man poster came out as well. We looked at them side by side in class. Actually, it's good having a class where you can just talk comic book movies the whole time. But we looked at them side by side, and the Spider-Man one was just so much more inviting, so much more engaging
and colorful.
It was because of the color. So the darkness that the Justice League is bringing. Look, I'm still definitely going to see this movie. They've got my money. I just hope that they can inject a little bit of that into the film, and not just with quippy one-liners, but with some actual brightness. I'm not squinting through the whole thing.
Well, this is true. Well, it came out today that the runtime is rumored to be 170 minutes, just 10 minutes shy of 3 hours. So this could be it's a long, long movie.
It could be a very long movie,
Yeah.
depending on how well it's put together.
Yeah, kind of like what the extended version of Batman v Superman ended up being.
Yeah.
It was just a very long movie.
Which is a shame. And look, And to be honest, that's worrying because I think they need it demonstrates. And look, I haven't seen the movie, obviously, so I have no idea really what I'm talking about. But I think it demonstrates an inability to just streamline and focus on what's important rather than just let's see how much cool shit we can put in this film.
Yeah, and speaking of cool shit, there was a lot of things that I noticed in this trailer that I want to speak to you about. Like there was this, looks like there's this ancient war that looks like it's being fought between the parademons, which are basically the soldiers for Darkseid, and the Amazon army, Wonder Woman's, basically her culture. These two are already colliding in what could be a flashback possibly, or a flash forward. I'm not sure, but that looked really cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's the Themyscira with the Amazons because they sort of hinted at that in the previous trailer when you had those men burying the mother box. That the parademons have been here and they've tried some shit. And I think if the Amazons weren't there to do something, like the parademons are going to go through some random medieval Viking village, but maybe the Amazons would be able to stand up for them, which makes you think. Stand up to them rather, not for them. They don't need anyone to stand up for them. But it makes you think that they must be coming back with something new this time because Amazon still exists. So
yeah, well, as I said, I wonder if there's going to be any mention of this in the Wonder Woman film.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, if they've got any manner of foresight, surely some of it would be set up. Well, and hopefully it's not just one woman clicking through some videos on a computer screen.
Well, there was a story we spoke about a while ago that Cyborg was actually going to be one of the mother boxes that Darkseid is hunting down. But there was a shot in the trailer where the mother box is sitting in like it looks like a corner of a room, and it's surrounded by Cyborg's football trailers. Now, whether this is obviously before his accident and his dad has to use the mother box to turn him into Cyborg, or it's after, it kind of opens up the possibility that maybe he isn't the mother box after all.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to tell because in the clip that we saw in BVS, his father had the mother box there and actually put the mother box and it connected to him. So, look, I'm not sure about this one because in that shot as well, you see a parademon. You see a parademon in the room with the father.
Yes.
There's another shot in the trailer of Cyborg actually holding a box. So I think there might be two.
Yeah.
And he is one, but there's also another mother box MacGuffin that they're trying to keep away. I thought for a second there they might be doing the Vision style thing where Thanos is going to come and try and get the Infinity Gem out of his head.
Yep.
But I think there might be a second one to fight over.
Well, speaking of Cyborg, they've kind of made some changes to the comic book version, and that is he can actually fly in this one.
Yeah.
And he has a mask as well.
Yeah.
And the mask kind of looks like a Deadshot mask because he's just got one glowing red eye. And,
he's had that. He's had that before in various incarnations.
Okay, well, the Cyborg I've seen, he hasn't seen a full mask. And is he basically the DC version of Iron Man?
I think so. Is he going to be cooler than Iron Man? That's the question.
Doubt it.
I don't know if you really can be, but I think that's really what they're kind of going for. He's Iron Man minus the Bruce Wayne elements of being a rich inventor. Well, but he kind of looks too much like a Transformer as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and a lot of the special effects, because he is basically all special effects. In some of the shots he looks amazing, and some of the shots he looks quite stupid.
Unfinished.
Yeah. So I don't know if they obviously needed to polish the rest of the film. I don't know, but I think we'll have to wait and see on him.
Yeah, exactly. I hope he does really well. They've got the Cyborg film planned, and he's an interesting character. So I'd like to see him succeed, but look, he's been in better hands.
One character that is growing on me, or two actually, the first one we'll speak about is the Flash. At first, I wasn't necessarily a big fan of his suit, but the more I see it, the more I like it, I think.
Yeah, and I quite like Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's growing on me as well, I've got to say. I'm finding him quite charming.
Well, there's two shots that I loved in the trailer, and that was when he's in the Speed Force, it's actually blue, where in every Flash incarnation we've seen, it's always been red, so I actually like that it's a little bit different.
Yep.
And there's this shot where he goes down into like this running pose, as if he's getting ready to take off, and then he just goes zoom. I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a lot of fun with his effects, and I think those will be worth it for the price of admission alone. I think.
Yeah, And I think after this film, it's pretty fair to say that no one will be making Aquaman jokes anymore because he looks bad fucking
No,
ass in
he
this film.
does look awesome. I mean, you could put Jason Momoa in any role, and he just looked
Yeah.
badass. It's not,
And it looks like he's got a really great relationship with Bruce Wayne slash Batman. You know, he always seems to be hanging shit on him as well. So I really
yeah,
like that part. And as you said, the part where he's riding the Batmobile and then takes off. You know, if we're comparing Cyborg to Iron Man, Aquaman could actually be the DC version of the Hulk as well, from what that shot says, where he flies into the air and takes on three parademons. It
yeah.
kind of reminds me of the Hulk when he's climbing the buildings in the Avengers scene and smashing all the aliens that are coming down. So he could be playing that role as well.
Yeah, I like it.
And then of course we got the big reveal of Commissioner Gordon as well.
Yeah, J.K.
Yeah,
Simmons
he
in the
looks
role.
really
He
good.
looks
He looks
awesome.
fucking perfect as him.
Yeah, it's. I got kind of sad when I heard that he was cast in the role because it means we're never going to get a J. Jonah from him again, and he was
Yeah,
perfect as that. But man, he looks so good. I'm looking at the image of him right now. He is Commissioner
yeah,
Gordon, man.
he looks fantastic.
Gary Oldman is fantastic, but he's just got J.K. Simmons just has the face shape. He's got everything, and that epic mustache.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah.
And there's one awesome line before we move on to the next trailer, and that was where the Flash says to Bruce Wayne, "So you don't have what's your superpowers?" And he just says, "I'm rich." So that was really cool. I did like that.
Yeah, having a bit of fun. I don't think it's a line you might have got from him 5 years ago. So
Correct. The second trailer that dropped during the week was the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer. Now this one as well, I didn't necessarily like the tone of this one. I love the tone of the first trailer a lot better, where it was a lot more, lot more of the high school film that we were expecting, rather than the big Avenger style film that it looks like now in this trailer. If that makes
yeah,
sense.
I think that might go to the fact that in this trailer they just showed all of the non-high school stuff. They just showed all of the action-y sequence. You basically got every fight scene from the movie in this
Yeah, I
trailer.
know. That shit me actually.
Yeah.
Like we've seen a scene where he's on a ship. We've seen a scene where he's on an aeroplane. We saw a scene where he's on Coney Island. It's being
Yeah.
destroyed. Like fuck. I hope they've saved something for the actual film itself.
Me too. You've only got sort of one scene of him in the trailer with Marissa Tomei, with Aunt May.
Yeah.
Which is what I was kind of hoping for, more of that side of him.
Yeah.
There's a couple of shots of him at school, so we could still see it.
Well, we got the backstory of the Vulture as well, and he's basically he wants to take revenge on Tony Stark after Tony Stark creates his own damage control company that cleans up basically the mess of the Avengers, and that's what his company was. So he decides to get vengeance by using all the salvage materials and alien technology that was recouped after the cleaning, and then obviously seek his vengeance on New York and Iron Man.
Yeah,
So
bloody yeah, that's cool.
That's his backstory, which is quite cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a change. It's draws on the original Vulture thing of being an industrialist, but a little bit different. Really fits in with the entire thing they're creating with the universe, and Michael Keaton, man. Even the little bits that we've seen him is just so good as a villain.
Well, I like this character because basically, he's just a working man
Yeah.
who wants revenge, where he's not like this, crazy scientist, or he's not this other rich playboy, or he's not this, he's not that. He's just an everyday guy who's
Yeah.
lost everything that he built up with this company, and just basically seeking revenge from that.
Yeah, and he just looks so good.
Yeah.
The suit, but even him when he's just wearing like the jacket with the fur collar.
Yes, that was a good touch.
Yeah, they've done such a good job. I also noticed, if we're talking villains, I don't know if it is actually Shocker, but they've got basically a guy who is Shocker
Yes.
in this trailer, which I didn't notice the first time I watched it.
Yeah, no, Shocker is in this film, and that's definitely him.
Yeah, that's such a good idea. And the costume, they gave away some massive plot details with the idea of Stark coming back and taking the suit. But the suit that he changes into, that he makes for himself, clearly is basically the Scarlet Spider, which
Okay.
is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of glad that if they're using the suit, it probably means they're never going to go down the Scarlet Spider storyline, which makes me very, very happy. But the suit is very cool. So.
Yeah. Well, I actually like the because in Civil War we got to see that YouTube footage of Spider-Man wearing that costume, and I'm like, oh, we moved away from that pretty quickly, so I'm glad that we're actually going back and seeing that.
We're getting set. Yeah.
And one thing I did like about his actual tech suit is I love the fact that he puts it on and it's all loose, and then he twists his thing, and then it just sucks into his body. I thought that was really cool.
Someone's been watching the new Nikes in Back to the Future.
Yeah, that's right. Because you always think, like, how the fuck does he get into that suit? It's so tight. But now we actually know, so I really like that.
And the suit's so Romita, man. It looks so John Romita and so awesome. Like this, it's Alex Ross painting style Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it just, that is ejaculation worthy. Yeah. It looks so good.
For you, maybe.
For me, well, yeah.
The rest of us just puts a smile on our face.
Well, it does that for me too.
All right, the third trailer for the week, and it was the one that I was looking forward to the most, to be honest. And believe it or not, it was actually my favorite. And that was the Stephen King remake of It.
Yeah, which is a surprise because I know how much you were looking forward to the other ones.
Yeah, so was I. But I've been reading every bit of information that's been coming out in this film, and I was really excited to see what it was going to look like. And boy, it did not disappoint.
Yeah, it looks like what happens when you take a Stephen King property, and there's been there's been an It movie in the past, which is decent. There's been some other Stephen King films which have been okay, but this looks like when you take the awesome material that Stephen King has put out and give it to some filmmakers who really know what they're doing.
Yeah, and I do shift work, so this morning I was on morning shift, and I got up and I usually check Facebook just to see if there's any big stories that's happened overnight, and I saw that the trailer for It was released, so I quickly put in my headphones, started watching it, and I actually regret doing that because the last shot at the end gave me the fucking jitters so badly I had to use my torch for the rest of the time I was getting dressed. Usually I get dressed in the dark because my wife's still asleep, but this one gave me the creep so much that I had to shed some light in the room. That's the power of editing.
Having the torch there is the worst because that's when you hear noise and you turn around with the torch and then his face is in the torchlight.
That's what I was waiting for the whole time. Every time I turn around and the torch goes into a new area of the room, I kept waiting to see that face. So that's the powering of good filmmaking, I suppose. Yeah,
the director is Andres Muschietti. I haven't seen any of his other films. It looks like he's really done something special here.
Yeah.
Just the whole aesthetic of the town and the color grading, it just looks fantastic.
It was great seeing the Loser Club all together. And there's a great shot where they're watching the slideshow, and the slideshow takes over itself, and you just see the reveal of Pennywise the Clown, and that was so well done. I really cannot wait to see that part in the film.
And I think one of the things that's going to sell this movie is the terror that these actors are putting out, because they all seem phenomenal just from these little bits in the trailer. Their reactions to these things obviously aren't there when they're recording, but that's what's going to sell the film. Their terror will make you feel terror. Even the being haunted by his brother and his brother goes shouting at him.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
Scary.
Yeah. I'm actually curious to see if this Pennywise is going to be as chatty as the Tim Curry version in the early 90s TV movie version.
I've heard that he is as chatty because I know that's something that a lot of people quite liked about the Tim Curry version.
Yeah, so I was surprised that they didn't, especially in the opening scene. It's one of my favorites where he goes, you want a balloon, and do they float? And obviously, where he says, down here everyone floats. So I was waiting for that part when the ship goes into the drain, but I'm glad that they didn't show it.
Yeah, I'm glad as well. I'd be happy if they just kept that for the film, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is the first horror film I think in a long time that I would actually consider going to the cinema to see.
Well, this is my thing. As I said, I've got a thing about horror films, and I really want to see it, but I don't know if I want to be going by myself, because I usually go by myself to these films, and I'm usually sitting around with no one else really in the cinema. So
I was going to say, you'll probably go during the day when there's no one else there.
Correct. So that's even more fucking creepier. So I might just have to sit with my back up against the wall, so I know no one can creep up behind me. So maybe
you'll bring one of your sons, just for like come on, I'm taking you out of school. We're going to see this movie. You'll scar him, but you'll feel okay because you got somebody else in the cinema with you.
Ryder still has not watched the live-action film since the Fantastic Four at the movies. So there's still no chance that I'll be taking him to see this.
Yeah, fair enough. He's already broken. You're not going to hurt him anymore by taking him to see this.
Yeah, well, this is true.
Yeah.
All right, well, off the top of the story, we spoke about Spider-Man and what's going to happen to him after he has his venture in the MCU. And there was a story this week saying that after the Homecoming sequel, so obviously we've got this film, we've got the two Avengers films, then I'm guessing there's going to be a Homecoming sequel. Then he's out of the MCU. He's going to be going back into the Sony universe.
Yeah, that seems like a bad idea.
So, yeah. Well, that leads into the next story, is that Sony announced this week that they are planning an R-rated Venom film, which is basically going to be the starting film for their own MCU universe, or Spider-Man Marvel universe.
It seems really strange to start with an R-rated Venom film. I mean, R-rated superhero films, I guess, are all the rage at the moment, but Venom needs setup. We talked about this last week.
And the weird part is that Tom Holland's, or I don't know if he's lying or not, basically said he knew nothing about it. So
he's a lying sack.
Is his version of just putting it bluntly,
you're listening, Tom?
Yeah, is his version of Spider-Man even going to be in this universe? Because it said already that there's going to be no links at all to the Homecoming films or the MCU.
I would actually be really interested, and I'm a bit of a purist with things like this, but I would be really interested to see a Venom film without the lead-in of Spider-Man. I don't know how you could do it since, as we said last week, he gets some of his powers from Spider-Man. But yeah, I'd be curious. And so much of his character is about hating Spider. I don't understand how this is going to work.
Yeah,
it's not going to be Venom.
Look, they said it's going to be an R-rated sci-fi horror film, so that's a really good start. But does Venom have enough draw power without Spider-Man? I don't know.
I think if they made it a good film, it would. I think people will smell the shit in the water if the trailers come out and it looks lackluster. But I think the concept does have enough of a draw power if it just looks like a good film. One of the stories they could tell is that the only person that Venom hates more than Spider-Man is Carnage. So the story could be Venom hunting down Carnage. That could be kind of cool.
But yeah, I don't know how they're going to go from an R-rated version of Venom to a more family version of Spider-Man, which, there's no chance they would ever make an R-rated Spider-Man because it's too much of a draw for the younger
Old man
audience.
Spidey?
Yeah, so I hope they've got this mapped out because at the moment it sounds like shit.
At the moment, I think it just sounds like some film exec meeting, just throwing out ideas.
Yeah, well, this movie is planned to come out in October, the Venom one, 2018. So they haven't really got that much time up their sleeve to make sure this is right. So fingers crossed. They've already started everything a year and a half ago, and no one didn't tell anyone. So
yeah, that's the hope.
Yeah,
I'm sure they've always got scripts and things on the back burner.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed, because I love Venom and I love Carnage as well, and I'd like both of those things done properly and not the Sam Raimi bullshit version, Topher Grace version that we got, 10 years ago.
I don't blame Sam Raimi for that because he didn't want Venom in that film.
Yeah, but he still took the paycheck and did the film.
Yeah, that's true. He told a great Sandman story in that movie, though.
Yeah, well, even that's another great character I'd love to see.
Yeah, and I think he would fit in this Homecoming universe quite well because they're setting up that sort of Sinister Six with the Vulture and even Shock a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Before we move on, just go back to it for a moment. Have you heard of the Castle Rock TV series they're bringing out?
Yes. Hang on, I'm trying to remember what it is. I know it's a combination. Oh, it's the Stephen King universe.
Yes. I only heard it. They released a trailer a while ago, which I didn't see. I just heard about it today because Mark Bernard and
I don't know if there was a trailer. It was just they just announced the idea of it.
Well, there was a teaser, which maybe the teaser was only released recently. I'm not sure, but it just goes through all the different stories. So for those who don't know, it's basically, as you said, a Stephen King universe type television series set in this small town Castle Rock, which is like a nexus for all of his different stories. So you'll get like Kathy Bates and Pennywise and characters from The Shining and stuff all living in the same small town, which is friggin' an awesome idea.
Yeah, if they could pull that off properly, it could be phenomenal.
Yeah, and I'm glad they're doing it as a television series as well because that really lends it to something special.
Yeah, no, I did hear that, and I was quite excited.
All right, something to look forward to.
All right, well, over in the Disney world, the Beauty and the Beast juggernaut continues to roll. It's up to like $700 million worldwide in its only 2.5 weeks of opening. So there is no chance that the live action remakes are going to be stopping anytime soon with the amount of money that these films are making.
And did you hear Emma Watson took a percentage of the profits as part of her pay? She's going to be rolling in.
Yeah, apparently, she's on track to make like $19 million of this film.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad coin, considering she turned down the Oscar-winning lead in La La Land. At least this is some compensation for her.
Exactly right. Emma Stone.
19 more reasons to not worry about missing out on an Oscar. But the world's her oyster now. She could pretty much do whatever she wants.
Oh, yeah. I think she's going to go into producing or directing. She's that switched on.
Yeah, she could, or she could look for that film that's going to give her that Oscar she missed out on.
Yeah, Anyway, let's stop speculating. I don't think she really wants it, but it's I have no idea what Emma Stone really what's her face really wants. So let's move on.
All right, well, this piece of news I was really excited about because I love the original film, and Disney have announced a Wreck-It Ralph sequel.
Yeah.
And, it's called Ralph Breaks the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph Part 2. So basically, he goes into the world of the internet, and it's from the team that brought us Zootopia last year, and I really can't wait to see what they bring into this.
It'd be very interesting to know what parts of the internet he goes to, because this could be an R-rated film, for crying out loud.
Well, I hope he doesn't go into your browser history part of the internet, because that would definitely not be a movie I'd take my kids to.
I'd watch it.
You live it, so you don't have to watch it.
Yeah. Enough said of that, the better. But yeah, the first film was really a charming film, so yeah. I'm keen to see these characters again.
Well, I'm quite surprised because when the film came out and they were talking about a sequel, they said they were going to bring more video game characters into this. So it looks like they're kind of moving away from that world and going into a completely different world.
Yeah, which they've kind of done the video game thing. I mean, there'll have to be something to do with video games, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll be lots of different Wreck-It Ralphs because they've got to get out of the arcade. Maybe Wreck-It Ralph is ported to PCs or something. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? The Disney chief came out this week. They've got this thing going on in Las Vegas. It's called CinemaCon, and it's basically all the heavyweights showing off their new films and then talking about what films are coming up. And Bob Iger, who's the head of Disney, he came out and spoke about the Star Wars universe, and he pretty much said that they are planning a 15-year run of Star Wars stories after Episode 9.
And that's, after Episode 9.
15 years?
Yeah.
That is insane.
We'll be dead by then. Doesn't that make you a little bit sad that you won't live to see all of the Star Wars films?
I'll be 60.
Yeah, but I know your lifestyle.
No, I'll be 50. I'll still be kicking.
No, you'll still be good.
Yeah.
But they'll keep making them as long as they keep making money.
Correct. As I said, there's so many stories to tell, and there's so many characters that could have their own films, and all those lead to more sequels. So the possibilities are endless.
I just can't wait to see the Cantina Band biopic.
Yeah,
that's going to be Straight Outta Compton, but with those guys, Straight Outta Tatooine.
Yeah, no, that would be cool.
Yeah,
and then he went on to speak about the new Han Solo film, and this one sounds cool actually because he said it's going to be covering his life from the time he was 18 to 24. It'll include how he first gets the Millennium Falcon, how he first meets Chewbacca, and we'll discover how he actually got his name.
How he got his name? His name's not Han Solo?
Apparently not.
Ooh, that's interesting.
So,
are they going to go through the parsecs?
They didn't talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
I don't have a direct line to the head.
I reckon they definitely will. Get him on the phone, goddammit.
And then he spoke about the passing of Carrie Fisher and how that affects the films going forward. And he said that she did complete all the work, and they're not going to change anything to deal with her passing.
Definitely.
And they're not going to go down the route of Rogue One, where they had a digital version of the character. So it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of send her off in this film.
Yeah, I mean, they said they're not going to change anything, but they've got to have something. I'm not saying that she dies at the end of the movie, but they need something They'll have some kind of poignant shot or message or something at the end there, I'm sure.
Well, maybe they might do like the Fast and Furious did, and they'll have Paul Walker driving off into the sunset. Maybe she'll jump in this pod and she'll just go.
No, not her. They'll have Paul Walker in an X-wing, just like jetting off.
He comes, picks her up, and then they just fly off into the galaxy somewhere.
I'd watch that film.
While they had that shit song that fucking played on the radio for months after the film got released, playing in the background.
Oh no, I don't know.
All right, well, it's a perfect tie-in to the next story. And at this CinemaCon that we just spoke about, Vin Diesel gave a early screening to all the critics that were there. And the fucking reviews are coming out calling it a crazy action masterpiece. Masterpiece. Did you hear what I said?
An action masterpiece.
They're calling it a crazy, insane masterpiece that is taking the franchise to new heights.
When I see car running away from submarine on an ice shelf, maybe they're doing something right. I don't know, but I can't. How much did Vin Diesel pay these people? I like Vin Diesel.
Usually, I really that doesn't scream masterpiece, in my opinion.
No, it doesn't. It's like Da Vinci's like drawing his things, and it's like, you know what? This needs more cars escaping submarines.
Yeah, I can't imagine the director, painting the Sistine Chapel version of the Fast and Furious. But as I said, the reviews, these aren't just, random people who have gone to a screening. These are actually critics. So, I don't know what to make of this, considering how much I've been shitting on the trailers. And you know what makes it worse? Every time I hear good reviews, I have to watch it. So now I've been shitting on this trailer for months, and it looks like I'm going to have to fucking watch this film.
We can say whatever we want about the Fast and the Furious franchise, but the people in charge of that have done an amazing job. Considering, the film when it came out was just like the second gone in 60 seconds, has now become a phenomenon, a cross-generational phenomenon. Yeah. Like I saw it, the kids that I teach love it now, and I saw it when I was their age. So they've done a really good job at the end of the day.
And another film that we've shit on as well, and that got screened at this CinemaCon as well. And the buzz around this film is saying it's actually quite good, and that's the 5th Pirate films. So the two films that we've shit on, every trailer that they've come out is actually getting good reviews. They're saying, it's a good return to form from the first film. It's as good as the first.
Well, you'd want it to be. It's got to be better than the stuff that came after.
Yeah. So, that's another one where I'm like, oh no. After I've just gone on record saying how bad they look, I'm going to have to watch them.
Well, look, we've been wrong before and we'll be wrong again. So let's just, we're comfortable with that. We're comfortable admitting our wrongness.
Yes. All right, well, there's two films that look like they could be going into production or at least planning sometime soon, and that is Sony wants Michael Bay to direct an El Chapo film. Now, are you aware of
Sony wants Michael Bay.
Are you aware of El Chapo?
Is he was a Mexican cartel guy, wasn't he?
Yes. This is the guy who's broken out of prison twice.
Oh, yeah.
No prison can hold him. Now, when I think of that, Michael Bay isn't the first name on the list I think of.
He didn't explode out of the prison.
Exactly. So unless a transformer busts him out of this prison, I don't know if he's the right man to direct this film.
Well, look, depends what they're going. If they're going for spectacle, but I don't understand it. It can't be a film that celebrates this guy. The best they can hope for is like a complex vision of who he is as a person. Otherwise, they're going to be glorifying him. Exactly. Is Michael Bay the right person to be going through this complex character piece?
Definitely not.
I don't think so.
He does fantastic action. I'll never deny him of that.
Oh, but,
this is a film that you would want to be taken pretty seriously. And the guy's still alive, so I wouldn't want to be fucking putting the wrong foot in the wrong direction with this guy, because he'll just have you whacked regardless. You and your family. Who do
you think's going to play El Chapo? Marky Mark?
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. No, it'll be Megan Fox.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, definitely. Megan Fox as El Chapo.
Well, I think Shia LaBeouf's got a moustache at the moment, so they can just fatten him up and...
he could put some tan on him.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
And this story, actually, I'm kind of excited for, because back in the 90s, I loved this director, and that was Robert Rodriguez. He's up for a remake of Escape from New York, the classic John Carpenter film.
Which could be amazing.
Yeah. If he can go back to the good stuff that he used to do, I'm talking like films like Sin City and Desperado, and what was the first one? El Marchio, I think it was. If he can
Yeah,
go,
El Mariachi.
yeah, El Mariachi. If he can go back to that level and not necessarily the Spy Kids and the Sin City 2 route that he ended up going on,
Yeah.
if he went back to basics, I reckon this could really work with this story because the first film itself is a classic.
Yeah.
And usually I don't like them going back and touching those, but I reckon this could be a good mix.
I think particularly because of films like El Mariachi and Desperado, I think they're the right kind of vibe that you could get for a film like this. Just a little bit over the top. Do you think they'll get Kurt back?
Oh, you would think he'd have to have some type of role in it.
Yeah, even if he's just passing on the torch.
Correct. You would think so. You know, it would be cool if you wouldn't think that the whole story would happen again and all of a sudden Kurt Russell's in this situation again and he hands it off like a die-hard situation to his young son. But yeah, who knows? It could work.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
All right, well, this probably should have been done in the first place, but there is talks that the Assassin's Creed game will be now turned into a TV show for Netflix. Now, you would think with the story being as big as what it was, it probably should have started there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, what's the story here, really?
Well, the story is that he can go back and forth into time and, you know, experience things that his ancestors did.
Yeah.
You know, to try and squeeze that into 90 minutes, 2 hours. There's a lot of story to tell there, I guess. So, you know, over a 12 story, you know, 12 hour arc, that would work.
Yeah, I actually I agree with you there. Did they say whether this is this overwriting the film or continuing, or
it's pretty much starting from scratch from the sound?
Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I don't think it'll have any links back to the movie.
But yeah, I think that's a cool idea. Maybe that's something they can look at for certain video game adaptations.
Yeah, especially with ones that has got so much deep story.
Yeah, I think
why not do it that way?
Speaking of, did you see the images of Lara Croft?
Yes.
Tomb Raider.
Yes.
What's her name again?
Anyway,
she looks great.
I don't think she looks as good as what Angelina Jolie did as Lara Croft, in my opinion. She was breathtaking in that film. And she looked exactly like the game version, the original 90s game version, not the new one that came out. Where they kind of slimmed her down and she wasn't as curvy. But no, the first images look good.
Alicia Vikander.
Okay. I know her well.
Yeah, I'll check this out. It's got I know all of her work.
Yes. The name just rolls off the tongue too, so how could you forget?
She does look the part, though. You've got of the rebooted version.
Yes, definitely. She looks good.
Cool.
All right, well, this week I got to the cinemas twice and saw two films. One was the new family-friendly film Boss Baby, which my two sons loved, to be honest. They were laughing the whole time through. So, you know, the film itself was just meh, you know. But it was, if you do have kids and you want to fill some time over the school holidays, this is definitely one to take them to.
This film, just before we move on, it strikes me as the kind of film that if you were watching a movie where they were making fun of Hollywood movies, this would be the film that they'd have. It's like, all right, here's the story. There's like a war between babies and puppies for some reason, and we get Alec Baldwin to be a baby who's actually a businessman or something.
I don't think the film would have worked as well as it does if it wasn't for Alec Baldwin, to be honest.
Oh, yeah?
His voice is just so unique, and especially if you're a fan of the 30 Rock series with Tina Fey, you know, he kind of plays that same character, Jack, that he played in 30 Rock in Boss Baby. So, as I said, it's more, you know, I don't think a lot of our audience we're going to go flock to see it, but if you do have kids, you know, take them to see it. They'll enjoy it. And
cool.
The second film that I caught this week, and it was one that I was looking forward to, and I got to say I walked out a little disappointed, and that was the new Power Rangers film.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say the Kardashian sex tape. All right, cool.
No, that one I enjoyed, but that's for a different podcast.
Yeah.
The film is 2 hours. This could have easily been 90 minutes. It took way too long to get to the actual Power Rangers themselves. We got 5 characters who are being introduced. Only 3 of them got real good introduction stories. The other 2 just happened to be there at the right place at the right time. The yellow and black ranger just happened to be at this one spot and there was no real reason why they were there. They were just there, and they end up taking the other Ranger coins, and obviously they become the Fab Five. The middle of this film is way too puffy. They could have just trimmed this down a hell of a lot. I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to get this team to bond. But as I said, it just took way too long to see them as Power Rangers. And when they were Power Rangers, I think they did maybe 3 or 4 kicks each, and then they just jumped in their Zords and they fought the big Goldar. So, we didn't really get to see any Power Rangers hand-to-hand combat stuff. So
it's just like the television series then?
Correct. But at least the television series, you got more than maybe 3 or 4 minutes of them at least fighting. But don't get me wrong, the third act was pretty good. And, if that's what the next 6 films apparently are going to look like, then I'm all for it. But it took way too long to see the Power Rangers themselves.
Well, let's hope in the next film it's like shot 1 is the Power Rangers destroying some putties or something like that.
And this film apparently cost $100 million. I don't know where the $100 million went. I'd be, asking the accountant for all the receipts because, apart from the third act, there was nothing in it.
Yeah, well, those special effects at the end there are pricey. Yeah, you don't animate Bryan Cranston's head on the cheap.
Yeah, well, this is true.
Was he good? I've heard he's good.
Yeah, he was all right. As I said, he's just a face in the wall, really. The cast itself, they're only really cast because they look pretty.
Yeah.
The lead is just a poor man, Zac Efron, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
The one who plays the Black Ranger, he is horrendously bad. As he's got horrible acting skills. I don't know how he was even cast. I'm thinking, maybe he's a, martial artist. But fuck, as I said, there was no martial arts in it, so I don't know why he was in this film. His performance was really bad. The kid who played Billy, the Blue Ranger, he wasn't too bad, but he got annoying. He just played this goofy nerd, and it just
he's the nerd, yeah.
Yeah, it was just the same routine for the whole film. I'm just like, come on, mate, move on. The 2 female leads, they were good, but as I said, the Black Ranger, horrendous. Rita Repulsa, Elizabeth Banks, she was good. I liked her.
Oh, yeah.
But I like her in anything. I think she's fantastic.
Yeah, she's very good.
Yeah. But as I said, the film itself, you'd give it a 2.5 out of 5. It wasn't anything spectacular.
Well, you've damned me because I was going to get along to see that, but now maybe I'll just wait until it's on Netflix.
Yeah, just wait for it. It's as I said last week, it's a good Saturday afternoon film. Just throw it on.
Right. Just skip through the first little bit and get to the end.
But yeah, if I was taking my child to that, I'd be pretty shitty because the kid's going to get quite bored of not seeing any Power Rangers for at least 90 minutes into the film. So yeah, I would have had them introduced at least halfway through.
Well, you can remake it. I'll fund you.
Oh, cool. And they did tease the next film. If you're a fan of the show, Tommy the Green Ranger is teased in the end credits.
I know that there's a lot of talk about people wanting a female Green Ranger.
Yeah, well, Rita Repulsa was a female Green Ranger.
So that theory was true.
Yes, and that's not spoiling anything. That's shown at the start of the film. That's the first opening scene. So that was a cool twist on it. Whether they go the same route in the second film, I don't know if there is a second film, because the film opened at about $40 million in the US. It just got smashed by Beauty and the Beast again. So whether it makes a lot of money or enough money to warrant a sequel, we'll soon find out in the coming weeks.
All right, looking forward to it.
All right, well, that wraps up episode 9 of Not Another Movie Podcast. I am Shaun Pierce.
And I am Sean Kelly.
And let your week be a good week until next week.